House of the Dragon definitely didn't skimp on the Targaryens' favorite fire-breathing mounts, and every one of them has a story to tell. The largest of Daenerys Targaryen's 3 dragons, Drogon hatches in the Dothraki Sea during Fire and Blood, the Season 1 finale of Game of Thrones. He and his brothers, Rhaegal and Viserion, are a wonder. At the time of their birth, dragons have been extinct for nearly 200 years and are little more than legends. But then, Daenerys strides out of her husband's funeral pyre with baby Drogon on her shoulder. Game of Thrones devotes much time to her experiences as the era's first dragon rider. Drogon grows quickly. Born in 298 AC, the black and red dragon is the size of a horse when Daenerys takes Meereen in Season 4 in 301 AC. One season later, he's large enough for the Mother of Dragons to ride after he rescues her from an attack by the Sons of the Harpy. By Season 7, approximately 304 AC, Drogon is as big as a Boeing 747. He's last seen flying east to Volantis with Daenerys' body after she's killed by Jon Snow. For most of the series, Rhaegal is overshadowed by his brother Drogon. The Green Dragon gets to shine in Season 8, however, when he's ridden by Jon Snow. Rhaegal is green and bronze with brilliant orange eyes. Like Viserion, Rhaegal's growth is stunted after Daenerys imprisons him beneath the Great Pyramid during Season 4, along with Viserion. Although smaller than Drogon, Rhaegal is still absolutely enormous when he arrives at Dragonstone in Season 7. Rhaegal faces off against his undead brother during Season 8's The Long Night, where he's wounded in battle. Sadly, Rhaegal's life comes to an unceremonious end when he's shot down by scorpions. Known for his cream and gold coloring, Viserion is a more placid dragon than his bigger brother, Drogon. This might be partially due to his being imprisoned in Meereen's catacombs alongside Rhaegal. In Season 5, Daenerys feeds Rhaegal and Viserion a few enemies after Ser Barristan Selmy is killed by the Sons of the Harpy. Then in Season 6, the dragons proceed to break free from the catacombs to help Daenerys and Drogon put an end to the Slavers' siege. By the time Season 7 rolls around, Viserion appears to be roughly the same size as Rhaegal. Sadly, his might cannot save him from the Night King, who kills, reanimates, and rides him. The Icy Fiend uses the undead dragon's flame to destroy the wall and unleash his army on Westeros. Viserion dies again when Arya Stark kills the Night King. Whether this will be Viserion's fate in the books remains unknown. The most legendary dragon to grace Westeros' skies, Balerion the Black Dread, was brought from Valyria to Dragonstone by the fleeing Targaryens. By the time Aegon I set out to conquer Westeros, Balerion was so large that his shadow engulfed entire villages. Balerion was Aegon's most valuable weapon. The Black Dread's fierce flame devastated Harrenhal and House Hoare. King Viserys rode Balerion once in 93 AC. By then, the dragon was too old to fly properly. A year later, the Black Dread died. His immense skull can be seen in House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones, surrounded by reverent candles. Caraxes is Daemon Targaryen's dragon. An unusual creature, he's often referred to as the Bloodworm, and it's not hard to see why. Caraxes has an elongated and sinuous neck, crimson scales, and a thinner build than most of his brethren. He is especially impressive when deployed against the Crab Feeder and the Triarchy's forces during the War for the Stepstones. Alongside his Valyrian steel sword Dark Sister, Caraxes is Daemon Targaryen's biggest weapon. Daemon and Laena Velaryon enjoy a honeymoon tour of the Free Cities on Caraxes and Vhagar after they marry. Sadly, this harmony ends with Laena's death. House of the Dragon introduces fans to Syrax in Episode 1, The Heirs of the Dragon. Ridden by Rhaenyra Targaryen, the Golden Dragon takes the princess for a flight above King's Landing nearly 200 years before Daenerys and Drogon destroy it. Syrax continues to play an important role throughout the series' early episodes. She lights the funeral pyre for Rhaenyra's mother after the queen dies in childbirth. In Episode 2, Rhaenyra takes Syrax to Dragonstone, where she confronts Daemon and demands he return the dragon egg he stole. Compared to Caraxes, Syrax is relatively small and significantly less experienced in battle, but her sleekness and agility are also clear assets, and her distinctive color makes her an impressive sight to behold. Seasmoke makes his debut in Episode 3 of House of the Dragon, second of his name. He's ridden into the Battle of the Stepstones by Balerion. The striking gray dragon is small, nimble, and bonds with Laenor soon after hatching. Seasmoke retreats to his lair on Dragonstone and refuses to accept another rider for nearly 10 years after Laenor's death in the books. Assuming House of the Dragon doesn't stray too far from the source material in future seasons, we haven't seen the last of Seasmoke. The most dominant dragon on House of the Dragon is, without a doubt, Vhagar. Born 52 years before the fall of Valyria, Vhagar is the only surviving member of Aegon I's original trio. By the time the events of the series begin, she's almost as large as Balerion, a seasoned veteran of many battles and famed for her hot temper. Young Laena Velaryon mentions Vhagar in Episode 2 during her conversation with Viserys. This is fitting, as Laena later rides Vhagar herself.
With Balerion died the last memory of Valyria of old.
But Vhagar still lives.
Originally written by Viserion Targaryen during Aegon's conquest, Vhagar is subsequently claimed by Balon Targaryen, then Laena, and after Laena dies, Aemond One-Eye, younger brother of Aegon II. Vhagar changes the tide for the Greens. The giant dragon ambushes Rhaenyra's son Lucerys Velaryon and his dragon Arrax, killing them both. Meleys, known as the Red Queen, is ridden by Rhaenys Targaryen throughout the Dance of the Dragons. With her vivid crimson coloring, it's easy to see where Meleys gets her nickname from. Before Rhaenys claims her in 87 AC, Meleys is flown by Alyssa Targaryen, daughter of King Jaehaerys and Queen Alysanne. The impressive Red Queen is said to be faster than all other dragons, easily outflying Caraxes and Vhagar in her prime. Princess Alyssa takes her son, the future King Viserys, flying on Meleys at just 9 days old. After Alyssa's death, Meleys accepts Rhaenys as her new rider. She's every bit as daring as Alyssa. In 90 AC, Rhaenys arrives to her wedding to Corlys Velaryon on Dragonback. By the time war is declared within House Targaryen, the Red Queen is a lazier creature, but she's still a force to be reckoned with, as she proves during the battle above Rook's Rest. Written by Aegon II, Sunfyre plays a crucial role in the Dance of the Dragons. Sunfyre is young, but battle-hardened. The dragon turns the tide in a decisive battle in Fire and Blood. This victory comes at great cost, however. Sunfyre's wing is torn from his body, forcing him to remain after the battle while a wounded Aegon retreats. Fire and Blood details Sunfyre's recovery as Criston Cole keeps the dragon well fed with sheep. Eventually, Sunfyre's wing heals enough for him to fly, but at an awkward angle that hinders him in battle. The yet-to-be-seen Dreamfyre is one of the older dragons featured on House of the Dragon. The blue and silver creature hatches during Aegon the Conqueror's reign around 32 AC and initially bonds with Rhaena, Aegon's granddaughter, who rides the she-dragon for the first time at the age of 12. Dreamfyre accompanies Rhaena throughout her turbulent life, from King's Landing to Casterly Rock to Fair Isle. After Rhaena, Dreamfyre is claimed by Helaena Targaryen, daughter of Viserys and Alicent, and sister wife of Aegon II. Helaena adores her dragon. Dreamfyre is never used in combat throughout the Dance of the Dragons, despite her age and size, but her historical legacy is enormous. Fire and Blood suggests that Dreamfyre may be Drogon, Rhaegal, and Viserion's mother. Rhaena's lover, Alyssa Farman, absconds with 3 of Dreamfyre's eggs, which are strongly implied to be the ones eventually given to Daenerys by Magister Illyrio Mopatis. In the books, Dreamfyre is said to break her chains in the Dragon Pit in 130 AC. Although the people of King's Landing riot when they hear of Helena's death, the mob kills Dreamfyre when they swarm the captive dragons in protest of Queen Rhaenyra. Also expected to appear in future episodes of House of the Dragon is Tessarion, who is ridden by Prince Daeron Targaryen, the youngest son of Viserys and Alicent. A baby compared to the other scaled steeds of House of the Dragon, Tessarion hatches around 120 AC. Dubbed the Blue Queen for her vibrant cobalt scales, Daeron's dragon is a smaller beast. Prince Daeron rides Tessarion into battle in the books to save Lord Ormond Hightower. The The Blue Queen scouts ahead to scare the opposition as Daemon's forces travel across Westeros. She burns Bitterbridge after Daemon receives tragic news. Vermithor makes his on-screen debut in the Season 1 finale of House of the Dragon, The Black Queen. Daemon seeks the dragon out to prepare for the coming war against the Greens. Nicknamed the Bronze Fury, Vermithor is ridden by King Jaehaerys I, Viserys' predecessor. He's an impressive beast, even among dragons, second only to Vhagar in size. Rhaena Targaryen, Jaehaerys' sister and rider of Dreamfyre, places Vermithor's egg in her infant brother's cradle. Vermithor hatches in 34 AC and grows quickly. By 48 AC, he's already larger than the other Targaryen dragons, save Vhagar. Vermithor also shows affection for Silverwing, the dragon belonging to Jaehaerys' sister wife, Alysanne. Fire and Blood suggests the two dragons are a mated pair. After Jaehaerys' death, Vermithor remains riderless until 129 AC. Many would-be riders with traces of Targaryen blood try to claim him, but the Bronze Fury spurns them all until he bonds with Hugh Hammer, a blacksmith's bastard.